Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Gift. In this video, I'll be making this flip palazzo pants. I'll be working directly on my fabric. My fabric is already folded into two equal parts. I'm making use of 3 yards of fabric. So from the end of the fabric where my hand is, I'm going to go out by 4 inches and I'm going to mark it to the end of the fabric and connect the dots together on a straight line. On the other side also, I'm going to be marking 4 inches as well, and I'm going to roll it out on a straight line. So this 4 inches is for my crotch extension line. So if you're on a bigger size, you should increase it to 5 inches or 5.5 inches. So on this other side as well, I'm going to mark 4 inches to the end of the fabric. Now I'm going to be marking my waist measurement. So you can see the shape these two line form like V shape. So I'm going to place my tape at the center of that shape. I'm going to place my tape on the line like this, the center that is joining both lines together, and I'm going to mark my waist measurements divided by 3 and not by 2. So my waist measurement divided by 3 is 9 inches, so I'm going to mark the 9 inches round like this. So I placed my tape at the center and I'm just moving the edge. So I didn't move my tape from the top. I was just moving it at the down part to get the 9 inches. Now I'm going to mark my crotch extension line. So my actual crotch measurement is 12 inches, that is plus the band. So we are making a flip and the crotch area has to be very free. So I'm going to mark the 12 inches and I'm going to add 1.5 inches seam allowance to it for ease. So this is 13.5 inches. The length of my crotch line is 13.5 inches. So here is a picture on how to take your crotch measurements on the screen. So for the crotch extension, I'm going to divide my hip measurements into 4. Whatever I have, I'm going to divide it into 4 again, and that's what I'll be using for the crotch extension. So I'm going to connect the crotch length to the crotch extension and I'm going to go out by 1 inch from the center, and I'm going to use my free hand to connect them together like this. So this is the crotch extension for the front. Now I'm going to move over to the one for the back at the other side of the fabric. So I'll be working on the crotch extension for the back at this other side of the fabric. So from the waist, I'm going to take my crotch length abi crotch depth of 13.5 inches. Then for the crotch extension for the back, I'm going to add 1 inch to whatever I have at the front. So I'm going to add 1 inch to whatever I marked for the front extension for the back, and I'm going to connect it to the crotch depth like this. I'm going to go out by 1 inch from the center of the line, and I'm going to use my free hand to connect it like this to my crotch extension line, and this is the crotch for the back. So for the length of my pants, I'm going to mark what I took from my waist at the top earlier, which was 9 inches. Then my band measurement is 1.5 inch. So what I'm going to do is my actual pants measurement is my full length pants measurement is 40 inches plus the band. So I'm going to minus 1.5 inch for my band from the 40 inches. Then I'm going to add this 9 inches to it. So whatever I have will be the length I'm going to be marking like this. So I'm going to place my tape at the top. Then I'm going to hold it steady at the top like that, the center of the top. Then I'm going to be moving it at the base. So from the top, I'm not going to be moving it. I'm just going to be taking it around on the end of the fabric. So the length of this pants is 49 inches. So I'm going to be marking 49 inches around like this. So I'm making use of 3 yards of fabric, so I can't get the full length I want. I have to join fabric on the other side. So it's advisable to use 3.5 yards of fabric if you don't want to suffer. And if you're a very tall person, you should go for like for 4 inches or more if you are tall. So this is the disadvantage. This is where the 49 inches stopped on my fabric. So I'm going to cut from this other side and add to this side in order to be able to complete the length. So I'm going to place the pieces on this part of the fabric in order to complete the length. So I'm going to turn it to the wrong side, just like this fabric is looking like. So I have two of it. I need two to complete the length, one for each leg. So I'm going to place the two right sides on each other, and I'm going to arrange it well in order to get the length I want. Make sure you use your tape to cross check it to get the length if you're making use of 3 yards of fabric and it's not enough for you before you start cutting. So I'm going to place this on the main fabric by 1/2 inch. So the 1/2 inch is my stitching allowance, and I'm going to pin it together. Make sure you add stitching allowance to it so you don't run short of the length. So after I'm done pinning the scrap fabric to the main fabric, I'm going to continue taking the length of the pants from where I stop. So I'm going to place my tape from the center where I placed it earlier, that particular point. Then I'm going to mark the length from where I stop. So I'm going to place my tape from the center, then I'm going to mark the 49 inches. So I'll just be moving the tape from the base, and it's going to be placed on a particular place at the center of the fabric to get an accurate measurement. So I'm going to mark it to the end of my fabric like this. I'm going to connect all the dots together, then I'm going to cut off the excess parts at the edge like. Now I'm going to be adding zipper allowance to the back crotch line. So I didn't add it earlier. So for my waistline, I'm going to go out by 1 inch like this. So where I want the length of my zipper to stop. So I want the length of my zipper to be 9 inches. So for my waistline, I'm going to mark the 9 inches, and I'm going to mark the zipper allowance to that point and connect all the dots together like this. So I'm going to minus 1 inch from the crotch extension I marked on the back. Then I'm going to mark it to the end of the fabric from under the crotch extension line. So you can decide to minus 1/2 inch. It depends on what you want to take out, but don't take out more than 1 inch. So I'm going to mark that to the end of the fabric. Then I'm going to cut out the excess parts like this. For the front of the pants, I'm going to be going out by 1/2 inch from my waistline to my crotch extension like this. So this is the seam allowance I'll be adding to it. So I'm going to mark it to the crotch extension like this. Then I'm going to extend my waistline to that point as well. So I'm going to minus 1 inch for my front crotch extension line, just like I did for the back. Then I'm going to connect it to the hem line of the fabric. So I'm going to cut off the excess part of the fabric like this after connecting the crotch extension to the end of the fabric. Then I'm going to cut out the waistline. Before I do that, I'm going to add 1/2 inch stitching allowance to the waist round in order to be able to join my band to it. This is what my fabric looks like after cutting out the excess parts from it. So this is the front crotch depth, and the other side is the back crotch depth. So I'm going to join the front crotch area together by the half an inch I added to it earlier. So I'm going to join it like this. Then the scrap fabric I added to the length earlier, I'm going to join it together as well. So I'm going to place the two right sides of the fabric on each other. I have to one for each side of the main piece. So I'm going to join it together like this. I've already added half an inch stitching allowance to it. So I'm going to place the two right sides on each other, and I'm going to follow the shape and join to the end. I'm going to do the same thing for the other one. I'm done joining the crotch area for the front together. I also joined the back together as well, and I ironed the seam open both for the front and back. Now I'm going to join the two crotch of the trouser together at the end like this. So I'm going to place the two center of the crotch line on each other like this. I'm going to open up the seam, and I'm going to sew from one center to the end of the fabric. So I'm going to start from the center and sew to the end. Then I'm going to start the other side from the center and sew to the end as well, in order to the end as well, in order to get a accurate result. So I'm going to open up the zipper allowance to where it stop on the back, in order for me to mark my waist, in order for me to mark the round waist to be able to cut my waistline. So I'm going to lose it up to where the zipper allowance stop. Then I'm going to take my tape around the waist of the pants like this. So whatever I have will be the length of the waistband I'm going to cut out. So I went ahead to cut my waistband. I added like 2 inches allowance to it. So the waistband is 2 inches. I folded in half an inch on both sides like this, and I ironed a stitch to one side of the band. So I'm going to bring my waistband like this to in order to attach it to my main fabric. So I'm going to place the waistband on the wrong parts of the pants like this. Then I'm going to stitch it to the end. I placed it on the wrong part of the pants. So the right side of my waistband is placed on the wrong side of my pants, and I'm going to stitch it by half an inch to the end. So after stitching it to the wrong part, I'm going to turn it over to the right part, and I'm going to top stitch it to the end. So that's it for the waistband. I'm done joining my waistband to the pant, and this is what it looks like. So now I'm going to be adding my zipper to the back of the pants after adding the waistband. So this is the type of zipper I'm going to be using. I'm going to iron the zipper allowance in flat in order to make the sewing of the zipper more easier for me. So I'm going to add the zipper to the back, then I'm going to hem the base of the pants. Thanks for watching.